Oh, that beautiful scene that got us just all wet. Just hot and bothered in that first trailer. Was it the first trailer? I believe it was. Where you see Iron Man and Spider-Man just zooming off, in the city. That was totally just a fan service for the trailer, and I commend that. There's nothing wrong with that, guys. If some people are griping that we didn't get that scene in this movie, it's no big deal. I was thinking about that. I was like, oh shit, I forgot about that scene, and it was getting towards the end. I'm like, I don't think we're going to see that, because it almost gave you the impression that Peter gets the suit back to do the final battle, and him and Iron Man are going to battle the Vulture together. That's what I was worried about. I was worried that the final battle was going to have Tony, was going to have Iron Man in it, and it didn't. Thank fucking God. What's happening, film friends? David the Film Junkie here, bringing in my spoiler review of Spider-Man Homecoming. That's right, guys. If you haven't seen the movie, I already gave spoilers right at the beginning of this video, so I apologize. If you haven't seen the movie, watch my original review. It says a spoiler review. It's right there in the title. So I'm just going to go over some of the spoilerish points and give my opinions on it. For instance, let's start off with, we got the opening scene. We got the opening scene with Tumis. Is that his last name? Adrian Tumis? Tomas? I don't know. Something like that. Vulture. So he is part of damage control, and they're cleaning up after the fight of New York City with Avengers. Pretty much the Avengers. But what I found weird was after that was all said and done, and we kind of established that, okay, he's going to get pissed off because of shit that happens right there, is it says 8 years later. 8 years. Avengers came out in 2012, which was only 5 years ago, which I guess I was like, oh, okay, so the timeline is shortly after Iron Man, which makes sense. I mean, obviously these movies can't follow the legit timeline. I mean, obviously sometimes when they could just okay, now we're jumping a couple years into the future, but of course, these movies take a long time to make. You can't just go bam, bam, bam. So it does make sense. And then we transition to that. We transition to, which was actually pretty cool. I love when it says a film by Peter Parker, and he's starting to vlog his Civil War trip to Berlin. Pretty cool, because you kind of see you see him in the distance, and we were always wondering, when you saw that trailer, we're like, okay, who the hell was recording footage of the whole battle at the airport in Berlin with Civil War? Who the fuck was recording that? Well, yeah, it was Peter. He set up a camera, which is showing some foreshadowing, I think. The fact that he loves to use his camera and blah, 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 and he set it up, it's showing a little bit of foreshadowing. I really dug that, and I actually like seeing that with the other angle and him getting the new costume, and then, with Tony Stark and everything. It was pretty cool, and then it just transitions to 2 months later, and he keeps on, texting Happy and calling, to report back, because he's just desperately trying to impress Tony to be an Avenger. That's his ultimate goal. School is totally second nature, which they display that for a good part of the movie, which I really enjoyed. Can I say this? And I don't know if you guys noticed this, but they did some changes in the movie from Civil War to now. Peter did not have a bunk bed. He had a twin bed. The apartment is completely different. His hair is different. His hair is shorter in Civil War. It was shorter on the sides and everything, and he was dressed up like a normal kid would. I almost find it kind of weird, because if he was not... I don't know, it's kind of weird, because if you look at his outfit, what he was wearing when he came home, and then you see his outfits in the movie, he looks a lot more poorer. The way the clothes that he's wearing is definitely not the same style that was portrayed in Civil War. Civil War, it just was he had a jacket hoodie on thing, but he had a normal t-shirt, and he looked very stylized. His hair was shorter and everything. But in this movie, his hair was longer, and he was wearing weird pants with the fucking New Balance shoes or something? Different. No explanation. I didn't understand that part, but whatever. One of the great things about this movie that has never been addressed, really, is the fact that what happens when Spider-Man has nothing around him, like buildings or trees or whatnot, to shoot his webs and swing across? What happens with that? They show that in here when he's this is what I really loved about it. The fact that he wasn't in New York City, or he wasn't going out all throughout Queens. I mean, he kind of was, but I'm just saying he wasn't in the city when he was in the suburbs, and he's trying to get to where they were testing out those weapons. He saw it in the back when he was going at that party. But then he's on a golf course, and he literally just shoots his web, and there's nothing. It's all open, so he has to run. That was absolutely fantastic. And I loved it too when he would mess up. There was during a little montage, there was a part he fell flat on his face, and it was great. And then somebody was trying to break into their own car, and he thought they were a thief, and he was trying to stop them, and he messed up. I mean, this is the kind of stuff we're seeing, like a young kid try to be a superhero with these powers, and they nailed it. They nailed that aspect of this story, and that's what I absolutely loved about this movie. Speaking of that party thing, can I say this here? This is a gripe that I've had, and I've actually stated this before. Why is it that movies and TV shows, they always have parties on weekday nights because they either have to go to work or school the next fucking day? It is a lazy writer's shortcut. Watch sitcoms. Watch movies. Who the fuck has parties on weekday nights? Because in this movie, yes, Liz throws a party and then they have school the next day. What the fuck? This happens so many times in TV shows, especially sitcoms. They always have parties and then they have to go to work the next day. And I'm just going, man, in movie and TV world, they just have parties on weekday nights. For some goddamn reason. Writers, stop being so lazy with that. It is. That's what it is. It's a trope that is absolutely a writer's lazy shortcut. And that needs to stop because it bugs the shit out of me. Characters in the movie, like in my original review, I talked about how like I wasn't really digging some of the stuff, especially Michelle, a.k.a. MJ. Yes, guys. That's what they had to throw in at the end. It's not, but her name is Michelle. Is it Mary Jane? Is it not? According to Kevin Feige, it's not exactly Mary Jane Watson. That's the thing. It is a different kind. I don't know what they're doing with it, but it's not good. It's really not good at all. Her character was so lame and just so annoying, and I knew it was going to be just going by the trailers. Just the way that where you going, Peter? And then, oh yeah, I'm just here because I like to be. She had this like weird like thing that she did with her mouth, and I'm just like, you are not a likable character at all. And you could tell, yeah, she's like, she kind of obsesses over Peter and everything, but it was so annoying. It was just absolutely terrible. And then you have Flash Thompson. Okay, this is like one of my biggest gripes of the movie. How is it that MJ, Flash Thompson, and Peter are on this fucking decathlon team together, academics? That doesn't make any sense! I mean, MJ's smart, but she's not like that. And then Flash Thompson, really? He's supposed to be like a big jock. And they got this, and they're all on this decathlon team together? I just couldn't buy that. I did not like what they did with MJ. I did not like what they did with Flash Thompson. It was all lame. He should have been more of a jockey bully, but I know they want to try something different. Instead, we got this little... I mean, I like the actor. He was in a couple of good movies, but it's just like... It just didn't work. It did not work at all. Like Flash Thompson on the academic decathlon team, get the fuck out of my face. One of the greatest things in the movie was Michael Keaton as Vulture. I mean, he's up there. He's up there in the Marvel villains. And the twist. It was actually reported that Zendaya's character, Michelle, was supposed to be the daughter of Vulture, but it turns out it's Liz, and it was a nice little twist. Like, I totally forgot about that, because I was like, oh, yeah, it's probably not true, and I think it was also debunked. And then when he answered that door, it was like, oh, shit, and the theater was just like, ooh. And it was a very intense scene, because all of a sudden, like, when he's driving them to the homecoming dance, he's starting to put it together because, oh yeah, Stark internship. Oh yeah, Spider-Man and everything. And then he started putting it together. And then I'm going to give him the dad talk when she goes to the dance. And then he like pulls out the gun and he just starts threatening. That is probably one of the best scenes in the movie. It is so freaking awesome. And that's what I loved about this villain. And that's what they did a good job. They did a damn good job. And that little twist, a lot of people didn't see it coming. And I personally didn't really see it coming either, and it was just absolutely fantastic. Good job, Marvel. One of the defining scenes in the movie, I mean, obviously, Peter got the suit taken away from Tony. I really love that scene. That was a good scene too, especially when because at first when Tony rescues Peter from like the lake or whatever the heck. And it's basically just the drone. He's over in like India or something like that. He's just talking through like the drone. This time when he rescues him from the ferry thing, which that was a really good scene too. Even when he's like struggling to try to keep it, and then what I loved was Peter's like, hey, you're not even really here, and then he just pops out of the suit like, really, bitch? Absolutely fantastic. And it was just testing, and then Peter, of course, is really down on himself. It was a nice scene. It was a nice character developing scene. Because where was I going with this? Oh yeah, the rubble part when he was in the normal costume and he approaches Vulture after leaving the homecoming dance. and the wings are just flying around, knocking down all the pillars, and the rubble just falls down on him, and then he starts freaking out. And I almost got a little choked up on this part. I shit you not. There is something about this where he starts freaking out, because I was just imagining myself, because I don't like to be in like tight spaces like that. I would probably start freaking out as well. And then you're like realizing this kid is 15 and this is happening, and he started freaking out. And then he sees himself with his mask in the reflection of the water that was dripping down, and then he just like gathers himself, says, "Come on, Spider-Man, come on, Spider-Man." He lifts it out. That was truly a powerful scene. I really enjoyed that. I mean, I really enjoyed the movie altogether. There's a few gripes I have that just were like, what the fuck? Seriously, especially with those two characters and stuff. And then, there was just, watching it a second time, it was a lot better, of course. It does act a little slow at first, and then it just really picks up halfway through, in my opinion. But I like the fact that I thought the formula was going to be, okay, I get it. He's gonna have the special suit. He's going to fuck up. Tony's going to take it away towards the beginning. Then he's going to have his original suit. And then he's going to prove himself. And then Tony's going to go back to suit. And then they're going to fight Vulture together, and that's what it's going to be. No, they didn't follow that formula. And I really commend that. I'm glad they kind of changed it up a little bit. And I'm really glad that Iron Man was no part of that final battle. But then we get to the Avengers headquarters. Whew! And this was perfect right here. Basically Tony was like, hey, you're part of the crew. We have a news crew. And you almost wonder if he was going to do like a Civil War thing. Like you have to lift off the mask and show everybody who you are. I think that was a little bit of that. That was pretty cool. But they showed the Iron Spidey suit. Is it going to have the legs? We're going to see it in Infinity War? Hopefully. Peter turned it down. He was like, no, I got to be a kid. This is good character development that was within this movie. Like he just like, I still want to stay on the ground. I want to learn more before I start joining the Avengers. I mean, he spent most of the movie just trying to prove himself, and then once he finally got it, he said, no, I'm not ready. And it was totally commendable, and even Tony thought it was. And then of course we got Pepper Potts. That was a nice little cameo, and everything. So, but seeing that Iron Spidey suit, woo, it was pretty damn sexy. Then of course you have the end credit scenes. Basically it was pretty funny, when Aunt May sees Spidey. I know people are going to gripe about that. People gripe about, when people find out that their secret identities are figured out. But, it just makes sense. But what the fuck? And that was pretty cool. I really dug that. Then you had the mid-credit scene, which showed Vulture in prison. And then the guy, I guess his name was Mac something. I forgot his name, but he plays Scorpion. And he talks about he knows some people that would want to know about Spider-Man. So I think they were setting up a Sinister Six. Who knows what kind of Sinister Six movie, Sony and their plans for Thing. And then we had the ultimate post-credit scene, which a lot of people were griping about. A lot of the DC side were going, this was fucking stupid. They're basically treating their audience like they're fucking idiots. Like, no, they're not. They were making fun of themselves. Okay, having Captain America throughout the movie doing those school videos, and then have him doing that at the very end, saying about patience, and you're waiting, and nothing happens. I thought that was actually pretty hilarious. The whole theater was lit up. I was like laughing. I thought that was pretty freaking funny. Like, it didn't need to set up anything for Infinity War, blah, blah, blah. Thor Ragnarok is going to do that. But a lot of people are complaining about that and saying like Marvel's just treating their audience like they're morons. I'm like, no, they were making fun of themselves because they know they go a little overboard with their post-credit scenes. Look, Guardians of the Galaxy 2! So I thought it was funny. If you didn't think it was funny, then you need to relax a little bit. They're poking at themselves, almost like parodying themselves. So anyways, guys, so there you have it. That's my spoiler review. If I missed something, I apologize. Let me know some of your thoughts about the spoilery stuff down below. What do you think about some of the characters, the little twists and everything? Let me know your thoughts about that down below in the balls area. Please hit that like, thumbs up button if you'd be so kind. Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to the other channel too. Follow me on the social media stuff that is floating above my head. I'll talk to you later.